Hello, Hog Nation. This is a doozy of a video. I know I like to lead off with that a lot, but we were playing 25-50 cent in this one. And today I'm going to teach you how to play against an extremely tilted, aggressive player. When you have a very tilted player, especially when that player has a very aggressive play style, you have to play a certain way. Yeah, can't just play normal poker. You're not getting the most money for your dollar if you're playing that way. So watch as I absolutely screw this one dude over repeatedly. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, starting off this one, we have pocket eights in middle position. Under the gun opens to $2. We're going to go ahead and kind of click it to a smaller to normal sizing to $6. The blinds are going to fold, but under the gun does decide to call. And ladies and gentlemen, we see the flop of our dreams. Yeah, we bink that middle set. So we see him donk into us. He donks into us for a very strong sizing, and with this sizing, this what is this, 3/4? Yeah, 3/4 pot. It is very, very obvious that this dude just absolutely loves this hand. Even though this board isn't typically gonna favor our 3-betting range, dude loves his hand. He's not doing this as a bluff. There is a lot out there. There's Jack 9 suited. I feel like could call a 3-bet. And that's an open-ender. There's some flush draws out there. His ace 10 suited is definitely calling 3-bets. He could have top pair with a diamond draw. And if that's the case, we're going to have a high action hand in this one. But I can elect to fast play this, and I could go ahead and slow play, but just by calling. The world's my oyster here. But I just decide to call. I don't really want to scare off any of his bluffs. If he is just stabbing at this one because it really isn't in my 3-betting range, I want him to continue to do that. And we see a very much of a high action card. Really not too sure about this one right here. So it's almost like, everything gets there, minus that Jack 9 I was talking about. But folding is out of the question. You kind of have to realize your equity here, even if you put him on the nuts right now. We still have, a board pairing or that coveted eight of hearts rolling out. That could still happen. Folding is out of the question, so we have two options, and that's going to be the call or to raise. If I call, I'm leaving myself just very little behind on the river. It makes it almost impossible to fold when any card comes out other than a diamond. So I just opt to go ahead and shove for all in, and I get snap called, and I am scared shitless until he rolls over 9-5. So, yeah, we're gonna take that one down, baby. So, let me introduce the main character of today's video. Yep, this guy. The guy we just pawned $100 off of. And let me tell you, he is quite the character. You're gonna come to figure out that this guy is mad. Very, very, very mad that I ran so hot against him. And how to play these people is to identify, are they aggressive and are they tilted? And if you figure out that they're both aggressive and tilted, they are bound to make stupid mistakes. So we already know he's aggressive as bleep. But is he tilted though? Well, I can identify he's lost $10 from his last loss against me. We already know that he's aggressive, but he's just playing anything. He's playing everything underneath the sun, which makes me think that he is tilted. So now that I know this, I'm going to wait for a good hand. And I'm going to wait for him to get crazy. Again, I have position on this food. And that's a big thing. And, we should be raising here. We should be raising. He is calling with anything. He's calling with anything. He hates us. He hates us. But we do for the worst of the two decisions, and we just decide to call. And we see a flop 3 ways, and boy, do we just schmink it. 2 overs and a flush draw, queen high flush draw at that. And homeboy is just gonna stab. I should start calling him Mike Myers, baby, because he's just stabbing. And against a tighter player, I would go ahead and raise this bet because, if they're tight, they're more likely to call a raise if they're betting in the first place. But no, we need to let this guy bluff. We know he's crazy. But we don't see the best cards. We see the king of farts. Yeah, that kind of sucks. We have too much equity to fold here when we see this pretty significant bet. And I kind of think fast playing against this guy is stupid. We know he's really likely to call pretty light, so we just decided to call here and see the river, which is going to bring the 4 of hearts, and he actually slows down, and he checks. And I think whenever a tilted and a aggressive player do this, it is literally choreographing their hand. It is not like, oh, go for a check raise. No, I mean, they're scared. Oftentimes they're going to end up on river with just crazy bluffs with air, doo-doo but air. They have napkins as cards. We should be bluffing here, but I get scared. I know he's probably pretty likely to call pretty light. And I think in this case it was the right play because he had 3, 7 of spades. So we lose a small one there for like $10 or so. Wasn't too bad. In this one I have ace jack in middle position, and I want to opt for the more looser route and 3-bet a hand. I probably shouldn't be 3-betting. It's kind of 3-bet or fold. I don't really want to play this one in a single raise pot like 8 ways. But our friend from last is gonna get his open limp out of there. He's gonna fold. We get a caller. So we see a board that's not typically gonna favor us unless we have overcards. So when they check it over to me, I'm just not even gonna try it. I'm gonna go ahead and check back. And when the 6 of spades rolls off, I don't really think it changes too much. And when he bets here, I'm kind of thinking, in the moment I'm thinking, I think ace jack could be good here. I'm ahead of his ace 10 suited. I'm ahead of his other suited aces, like ace deuce, ace 4, ace 5, whatever. You know, ace 7 would be doing this. I'm ahead of that. But I think that's just kind of bad thinking. And I guess I was also thinking I could be ahead of his pocket pairs, you know, like pocket 10s. Pocket 5s are taking a random stab. Not ahead, but I could have equity against. That's what I meant. But I think that's just really stupid because I'm not ahead of a whole lot. Even some of his bluffs I'm behind. Like those pocket pairs I just mentioned. And like, you gotta have ace queen for all I know. A lot of people don't like 4-betting ace queen. But yeah, I do the more riskier thing and I decide to call. And the queen comes, the queen of spades, the backdoor flush gets there, and he is going to check. And I'm really thinking about just firing away on this river. I mean, you think in terms of ranges, this is going to be more in my range. I'm going to be floating with my ace queen sometimes. I floated with ace jack. But no, yeah, and I think maybe I could get a fold out of whatever low pocket pair this guy has. That's not even first or second pair at this point. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm like, I could really just fire away and get him for like with a pot-sized bet. It just screams like I got there. Even some of the flush draws. I mean, I have the ace of spades. I think I could rep that. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just decide not to, and thank God I didn't. He actually ended up rivering that set. He played it very well, but I get out of this one only losing $10. So we're only up 20 at this point, or 25 to be exact. And we get to see our buddy again. Yay! He opens the $2. It's going to fold to me. And I have ace queen on the small blind. Don't want to play too crazy of a one. I'm out of position always. But I do bump it up to 6. He decides to call, and we just see the dream flop again against this nerd, man. Hit 3 of a kind. We hit 3 of a kind again against this guy. We know he's very aggressive, so let's just go ahead and just check it on. Yep, there it is. There's the pot size bet. Whoa, yay, whoa. None due to here, but just call. We already know we could get value at this guy from in later streets just by checking it to him. So that's what we do. We just decide to call. Jack rolls off. Doesn't change too much other than whatever pieces of air he was floating around with. But yeah, he bets to $26, and let's just not think about this related to the pot. This is a 25-50 cent game. A lot of the time, the pot doesn't grow to this size. You know, you'll see maybe 1 out of 15 hands get to $26. So now I'm thinking, it is kind of ballsy for anyone to be bluffing to this size. Maybe he actually has something here that he's okay with doing this with. I'm not worried at all that I'm beat. This guy's a lunatic. I think he could be thinking a 7's good here. And if he thinks a 7 is good enough to bet for $26, he's going to be thinking a 7's good enough to be calling it all in. This is just the wrong play always. Remember, this guy's a lunatic. I should just be check calling everything. But yeah, so we just jam all in, and what do you know? This loser folds. He had absolute shit all. So yeah, we take down $40 in this nice one. Thank you again to Mr. Number 4. So let's go back to our little bit of artwork done on Mr. Number 4 here. Let's just reiterate, yeah. Add more arrows. Who are we talking about? Oh yeah, this fella, Mr. Number 4. Yeah, put a big box around him. Let him be seen. Here's another thing about Mr. Number 4. Down heaps to us. $95, which is a lot, and 25.50 cents. And we know he's tilted. We know he's aggressive. And we know he's coming right back for his money, baby. Keep that in mind for future hands. Our villain didn't need any introduction in this hand. You guys know him as Loser and Idiot, and I know him as Mr. Number 4. I have 4-6 suited here in the BB, often referred to as the big blind. I decided to call it because it's a great hand to see multi-way. And boy, do I bank it with an open ender. So, pretty nice. Knowing that we have an aggressive Mr. Number 4 in our hands, just going to check it to him, and sure enough, yeah, he fires out pretty big. Nothing to do here other than just, I think, flat call. The fellow in front of me is going to fold. Don't really want to blow this one up with just a draw. Decide to flat call, and mono e mono for the millionth time tonight. We bank a pair, so not bad. And I mean, I just take a deep breath when I see the bet. You know, another just of a bet. Yeah, man. I mean, I have a pair now. I have a little bit of showdown value. But here's what you need to think of. We just know this guy, right? We just know he could have any 2 cards. So is his any 2 random ass pieces of paper better than mine? And I think in this case, and how wet this board is, and how many different things you could have with any 2 random cards, yeah, I'm willing to bet it is. And let's go back to a hand we already saw when he had 3-7 suited. And this is that hand right there. I overlaid his 3-7 from Showdown on top of his hand. But yeah, this is the board, and this is his betting. I mean, it almost just lines up perfectly with what we see here. Let's go back to it again. And even his bet sizing is the same, you know? In this hand, he had a flopped top pair. So, objectively, you know, a strong hand. He had a strong hand on the flop, and he's still overvaluing it on the turn. And if he's overvaluing it, he's probably going to put some value on the river. So I just see the parallels in between these 2 plans and how, you know, he's playing this one now. I'm just like, I'm not ahead if he's playing it the same way. I'm just going to go ahead and fold. Because if he thinks that hand is valuable for some whatever reason, I can't even bluff him out on the river. Fold now, don't call a bet, and try to get the showdown. I'm probably going to lose. So yeah, we lose $6 in this one. Oh well. This man needs no introduction. It's Mr. Lucky Number 4, starring as today's villain, or at least in this hand for the millionth time. We have 8s on the button, and the man himself is going to go ahead and open it up to $2, his signature move. He gets 1 caller. So this makes this raise I'm about to do squeeze. So I go 9.25. I like the sizing. We know Number 4 is not going anywhere. He's always calling. But the other guy, 9 times out of the 10, is going to be folding. He just can't, you know, follow along with his weaker stuff here. Sometimes they call it pocket pairs, but it's whatever. We see a flop that is doo-doo butt. 4-10 deuce all hearts. We do have the 8 of hearts, but when he leads out for $20 here, it's kind of like, you know, he's got to have something. He's got to have it sometimes, you know. He can't always just be bluffing. And we got to differentiate ourselves from this crazy player, you know. We got to keep a very logical, rational head on our shoulders. We can't call here with second pair and a very weak flush draw. You know, he could have millions of things better than us, you know. It just doesn't make any sense. Wait, what? forgot. That's right. He's down heaps. He's aggressive, and he's tilted. Pot size bet doesn't mean anything. Remember, this guy's a madman. I flick in the calling chip. Bada bink. So the turn's going to bring this queen of clubs. Really doesn't change anything other than giving those queen high flush draws a pair. But if he had that, he'd be betting here. Speaking of betting here, he slows down, you know. We see him check right here. And I think if he were to bet, it would be extremely polarizing. He'd be doing it with just some utter bluffs, you know, just stuff that doesn't make sense, like he has been doing. Or it would be something that just has us demolished, something that we may be slim to dead on. So I'm actually happy to see him check because I get a more accurate read of his range. I feel like most of the time this is a flush draw. And this flush draw is trying to see this river card for cheap. Because he knows if he could hit this flush, you know, he probably has me beat, you know. And that's what he's thinking in his head. And I'd say a good bit of the time I'm ahead of that. I'm not ahead of it if it is a pocket pair higher than this 8s. However, he'd be putting the money in if that was the case pre-flop, because this guy's just the type of player to do so. So I just decide to go ahead and just throw it all in there, hoping maybe he just calls with his flush draw. He does tank for about 30 seconds, but he ends up folding. But we do take down a very nice $30 pot. Alright, we're sitting here in early position with a hand we can make the steel wheel on. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet. Because I just love this hand. It's personal preference. I'm 3-bet the pretty big sizing because I know my boy here, the guy that just keeps coming back. It's like the Jurassic World movies. They just keep coming back with more, increasingly ass and just unbearable to watch. But yeah, just me and him, this Tom and Jerry dynamic going at it. I bet this flop here because it is my range. It's no secret that, you know, if I'm 3-betting, I'm somehow going to connect with this board. But homeboy here just min clicks it back. I mean, let's be honest here. Given the size of the pot before he min clicked it, if he were to call, he'd have very nice SPR, the stack to pot ratio, to kind of go all in no matter what happens. I don't know why he is clicking it back here. Only if he's bluffing, he's clicking it back here. That's the only possible thing. It might be crazy to call here. I don't have a pair. I have a gutter. I have a gutter here, and I have a backdoor flush draw and an over. And if this over hits, then it kind of sucks because stuff he is bluffing with. I mean, like a king here that has this open ender. Yeah, that gets there. I don't want to see an ace. I want the board to stay the same. I want to see like a jack and a 10 come out, turning river. But I can't call this, right? I mean, I just don't have the equity to call. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Go ahead and flick it in there, boss man. So the turn brings in a card I really didn't want to see. I mean, it gives us a pair, but yeah, he's just going to go ahead and flick it all in there. I mean, I check it over because this is the card I didn't want to see. And he insta-jams, dude. I mean, I do kind of sit here a little bit. I know it's just talking about SPR, and I bring up that turn a lot. Probably too much. I probably don't know what it means. It means enough to keep bringing it up. But dude, pot odds, right? every single terminology to make me sound smarter, I'm just gonna keep saying it. But we have a pair here, and we know this guy bluffs probably 8 times out of the 11. So let's just call. If he's got us, this is his first win over us in the past like 4 times we faced off. No. Wow. What is that? That is 7-5 offsuit. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, well, we take down this $35 pot thanks to our friend here. Alright, not bad. Alright, guys. We see everyone's favorite hand in this one in the small blind. Ace-5 suited. Do we think number 4 is going to be in here? Open limp. Alright, yes, he is. I could bet $1 million he's calling. That guy's going to limp. This guy's going to limp. Nope. $4. Got a bink. We do know one guy's calling. There he is now, doing his little thing. The other two, they're smarter players. Definitely not going to be in here. We see a nice flop. We bink top pair. On a board that probably doesn't have too many draws other than 6-7 and Jack 10, but he could have any 2 cards, so I'm just going to check it over to him. He bets around 3/4. Guys, we already know what I'm going to do here. I'm not going anywhere. Not even thinking about anything other than calling, and we see this 4 roll off on the turn here. And we do the same thing. We just check it over to him. But he keeps it up. He bets 3/4 again. I mean, if I'm in control here, I don't really want this pot to blossom too much. I have just top pair with a weak kicker. I don't know what this guy could have. He could have something like 8-4 off. He could have like 9 ace-9. He could have so much that I just am killed. I don't know. So I kind of hate seeing the bet, and I know from the 8's hand he slowed down on the turn. So now it's getting to a point where it's very, very uncomfortable. Again though, we know this guy's track record. I'm gonna stop with the charades. I'm just calling, and we see this brick roll off on the river, as in the deuce. I guess there's the backdoor flush, but yeah, I'm gonna check it over to him, and I wouldn't mind a check back, but no, he goes all in. So we've just reached a level of just max discomfort. This really does suck. Ultimately, this is a very tough spot to be in. We know this guy's track record, but we never really made it to the river and seen him still bet. Even in that 8's hand, he slowed down on the turn. I didn't really bet river, but I am perplexed. If I'm facing a normal player here, I'm just never calling this. This just screams strength. Rarely does anyone ever triple barrel as a bluff. But it is this guy, and besides the fact that this deuce on the river completed a backdoor flush, everything kind of bricked out, other than what was strong on the flop. What was strong on the flop stayed strong. And I just know that this player is more than capable of bluffing, so I flick in the call. And what do you know? He flips over 6-7 for a missed open-ender. And we take down this $179 pot. That's the last of Mr. Lucky number 4 in today's game. Alright, in this one, we're on the button. We have ace-10 off. So, it's actually going to limp/fold around to me. This guy that has the 50 cents to the right, that's what happens when you automatically log into the game. We're going to bump it up pretty big to account for all the limpers, and we're going to get 2 callers. This guy under the gun, and the cutoff to my right. We see this flop of dreams, ace-ace-3. This is very unorthodox. Under the gun who limped donks into me for 2/3 sizing. This just screams I love my hand, and I didn't learn that until this hand. That it screams I love this hand. Remember, I janked that shit up very much to a big sizing pre-flop, and I think during the hand I was thinking, yeah, I think when I do this, a lot of times it's as a bluff to kind of squeeze people out and get that dead money. And maybe this guy just thinks I'm bluffing. It's a perfect time to donk in because it's a double pair board. That's what I think he's thinking, so I decided just to call, keep his bluffs in there. But yeah, I mean, a break rolls off, and he bets again for a very big sizing, and now I'm kind of just baffled. Does he have an ace? Am I getting out kicked? Who the hell would limp with ace-jack underneath the gun, ace-queen underneath the gun, ace-king underneath the gun? I mean, those people who do that, they'll limp then back raise, which is stupid. Don't ever do that, by the way. It's just so stupid. But yeah, I don't think I'm getting out kicked here. I mean, I'm not even thinking about pocket threes, pocket whatever. Does he have just some sort of flush draw he thinks he could just bluff me out on, or is going to hit on the river? I don't know, but I know I can't fold. And here's something that I missed, actually. That bet of $15 is 3/4 pot, but it makes it for a perfect jam on the river if I call, which I end up doing, and we see the jack of clubs come out, and he just jams all in. And this is where just thinking about SPR and all that stuff, just it doesn't. You shouldn't here. I mean, I just told you in the previous hand, triple barrel bluffs are just not a thing anymore. They're almost non-existent. But I mean, I'm gonna call here, and I think what he has very much makes sense. He has pocket threes for a full house. He just decided to set mine with, and he got in there for cheap. But yeah, we lose $60 in that one. A tank to our stack, but this is the last hand of the day, and I'm gonna round up the total in this outro. All right, that's gonna wrap this one up, guys. Thank you to number 4 for being a sponsor in today's video. Sponsored by number 4, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, we were in for 50, out for 214, so that's gonna leave us a profit of 164. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. This is a 25-50 cent game, guys. Not a 1-2. It's not a 25-50 game. I know it's easy to think that with how much I won. But it's not. It's not a 25.50 game. It's 25.50 cent. But no. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to, tune in some of my other videos. But have a good day.